Well, I think, you know, there's definitely a sort of a balance in the album between, you know, in terms of the lyrical content. I think there's quite a lot of the songs are about really being sort of, you know, living in a sort of authoritarian world, but also, you know, the flip side to that is, you know, we're all just, you know, we're all just human beings and we all live our own lives, you know, accordingly. And so I think we felt Viva la Vida was maybe not quite enough because it didn't really represent the full sort of scale of the album's themes. And we felt that having the second part of the title just kind of balanced it out a little bit. Well, there was one song which is on the record called Lost, and that was kind of a result of, we were listening to the Blur song Sing in the dressing room and, you know, really enjoying it just before a sound check one day. And then we went on to do the sound check, and I guess the idea for that song came as a kind of, you know, lifted from our listening to the Blur song. But in actual fact, it didn't really turn out anything like it. But that, you know, that's quite often the way. Well, the bakery where we are right now is our kind of headquarters, and downstairs is the studio where most of the record was made, and upstairs is where we do other stuff like have lunch and
photos. And art. We did all the artwork, most of the artwork here as well, you know, and we try and do as much as possible here. Meetings, and we have offices upstairs, and, you know, a little editing suite in there, and it's always something going on.
And, you know, this is kind of new for us. You know, we didn't have this this place on the last record, and what was nice about working here was we didn't have any kind of time constraints or kind of worries about watching how much the studio's costing, you know, or if we want to come in here in the middle of the night, you know, we can just come in, it's our own place. And I just think we felt more comfortable in a way to be freer and not under this pressure to kind of, you know, just hit record straight away and settle for the first thing that comes along. You know, we sort of, this place gives us the ability to develop stuff and push it further. So it's been, you know, it's been really great in that respect.
I feel like the reason we asked Brian to be involved with this record, originally we actually asked him to give us some ideas as to who we should work with, because we kind of felt like we wanted the new Brian Eno, you know, someone that would help us in the same way that Brian helped all those wonderful bands and artists. And it kind of ended up, you know, we said, do you know anyone that can help, you know, that can produce us? And he said, well, I could give it a go. And we were like, really? That'd be amazing. So we ended up looking for the new Brian Eno, and ended up with the real Brian Eno, the old Brian Eno, who is far superior to anything else, you know, as far as we're concerned. But just everything, you know, he's obviously, his track record and his history of working with bands that we love speaks for itself. And I think we felt we needed someone to, rather than someone that would just take us as we are and not really push us in different directions. I think wanted someone who had his own ideas about music, and very strongly formed ideas, and that would make us do stuff that we wouldn't normally do. Otherwise we're just going to end up with another Coldplay record.
Yeah.
Well, I think melody has always been the most important thing to all of us, and, you know, that's the most memorable thing about a song is the tune. But this time we felt like we were a little more, for some reason, a little more isolated from outside music. I mean, there was, in terms of a general influence, we didn't really say, you know, last time round it was more the Kraftwerk and David Bowie kind of things we were listening to. This time there's small references to things, but they're very particular to that song or that part of a rhythm or something. So we got help from you know, all types of music, but there was no overarching kind of general, this is what we've been listening to, and you can tell because it sounds like this. So there's more kind of specifics of guitar sounds or drum parts or something like that. So we felt like we wanted to try and be, we were doing a lot more experimenting in the studio, and so we kind of used that as our basis for, as an influence, just trying to do things totally out of the ordinary and then dialing them back in to make them acceptable.
Brian is a man who is just full of ideas, and I think the chances of him suggesting to other people to do the same ideas as he's been suggesting to us is very remote.
Unlikely.
He's a man that gets very bored very quickly, and he's always sort of searching for the next thing. So there was no fear of any sort of overlap with anyone else he might be working with at the moment.
I don't think we ever we don't ever look much further beyond what is right in front of us in terms of whether that be an album or a tour or whatever. It's easy to look back and then kind of judge your career, as it were, because as the longer it goes on, the more we have to to look back at, and so it's easy to look back. It's not so easy to look forward. We don't really sit there and think, we've got to do this for another 10 years or another 20 years. We've got to keep going on. We're saving this and saving that. It's all about whether you have good songs and whether we can keep recording them and keep, we want, of course, who wouldn't love to just be able to play music for the whole of your life, but equally it's not really feasible to think of it like that. You just have to take each step at a time.